Good afternoon, friends. Steve Ben-Nun here with Israeli News Live here on Patreon, and wanted to share something here with you. This video here was sent to me actually by a friend of mine, and I forwarded this over to the folks there that I know in Washington to get an idea of the authenticity of this video. And this part here is the only part that they could confirm was authentic, is this particular part right here where they show this, what they call a gray alien, and that indeed it was real footage. And I wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it because as I was speaking with friends there just the other day, I was told that this particular creature, this being, this alien, whatever you want to call it, he actually died a short time after this video was taken. They said he only lived about a week longer, and it was something to do with the atmosphere that we live in was not conducive to him, and also the fact that was told that if you get around these type alien beings, they were very toxic to humans as well. You could easily die if one of these things breathed on you or if you touched them. So it was kind of went both ways. But oddly enough, I was told that this creature or this being actually spoke the English language, and he claimed to be from the future, not an alien at all. He actually claimed to be an earthling. And although he had said that he was not born during the time when the earth goes through a major calamity, that the earth did suffer some type of catastrophic event that forced the human beings to have to live underground. As a result, over the course of hundreds of years, they evolved into basically what you see here. I said their eyes got larger, their heads got larger, they lost their ability to grow hair, etc. But also, there were a lot of things that the government was asking this being here, trying to get a better idea of what he knew, things that he knew, etc., and of course, what his purpose was for coming here. I didn't know the exact reason for the purpose of coming, other than to, I can tell you that they said that his thoughts on religious beliefs were, as I was told, were very convincing. He believed very similar to the way some Christians believe today, although he was not claiming to be a Christian. He did believe that the Most High God dwells within us, that we are a temple in which God dwells in. Very interesting, some of the things that was shared with me about this particular being here. And of course, even more interesting is that this was considered to be an authentic video. Now, but the issue, though, that did come up was, besides this particular film footage here, was a couple of things, and I wanted to share this with you. This is footage that has come out of the news where they're talking about the military is seeing spacecraft. And the Pentagon had confirmed this, leaked video footage, that it was actually identified as a spacecraft. And I was told that we have seen a 500% increase in extraterrestrial activity just since 2020. So in 2021 alone, we've seen 500% increase. But the videos that are being leaked out to the media, though, are not actually extraterrestrial. In fact, this video footage here is of a U.S.-made spacecraft that is used in our own arsenal. We have quite a few of these. We are already involved in space travel, etc. And that this particular vehicle, or it's been said that it is believed that because 95% of the brass of the military, when I say brass, officers, etc., are totally unaware of our real space program that we have and the capabilities that we have, only about 5% of the military brass knows about this. So therefore, it can easily be videoed, and the military would think, wow, this is really a spacecraft, whereas the small percentage that is aware is also able to make sure that these craft are not attacked as a result, which could cause a loss of life. Anyway, that goes into another situation that I wanted to share with you. And I know this is kind of sporadic the way I'm putting this out here, but it's just trying to remember things that I when I have these meetings here that I wanted to be able to share with you. It is believed that the showing of craft like this is actually being done in order to prepare the public for the disclosure that is going to happen next year. The government is going to disclose that there are aliens and that we are not alone, basically, in the universe. But from what I understand, they're only going to reveal one species of alien when there are estimated to be 135 different species, according to the government officials that I'm familiar with. But that being said, as I want to remind all of you, I look at this as being fallen angels, demonic beings. In fact, the one friend that I have up in Washington is of the same mindset. He is, from a scientist's point of view, in fact, he actually has stated to me before that he cannot help but believe that they are fallen angels and very deceptive as well, that they're not benevolent. But he told me that we are going to see in the not so distant future, not just a disclosure, but after a great war, after a famine, after yet another pandemic coming, that we are going to be deceived greatly into believing that these beings that will be coming, that will make themselves known to the world, that will make themselves known as if they are saviors of this world, that is actually going to happen. And not only is that going to happen, but they're going to try to convince the people that they are the ones that sent Jesus. For the Hindu beliefs, they will say they're the ones that sent Muhammad. And these are the type things that are going to happen. As I listen to this, though, I keep going back to what Paul says. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against spiritual wickedness in high places. We are really at a major war coming. And I can't even begin to tell you how serious I believe this is going to be. The great deception, I think about that too. So many times we talk about there being a falling away and there's going to be a great deception. That would be the mother of all deceptions right there, is an alien presence coming and then convincing the Christian world that in fact they're the ones that sent Jesus Christ into the world. And how many ministers will end up believing that? Not to mention when they bring the Messiah figure for Israel, it will be accepted. So I warn the Jewish people now, as you hear my voice, do not believe it. As I told you, this one particular alien being, which claimed to be an earthling, right? That this footage was actually authentic. This is footage that has been viewed by a friend of mine there in Washington, knows this to be true, and claims that this particular creature here said that he was actually an earthling. I asked as far as how far in the future did he claim to come from. Now, of course, I don't necessarily believe that this being is really an earthling in the first place. Could be very deceptive, but when asked about that, I was told that he did not remember, didn't want to be quoted on it, but I asked if he could just give me a guesstimation. He said if he remembered correctly, about 1,000 years in the future. And because my thought was, is if you're going to have a transformation of the way we look, then it would seem more plausible to me that it had to have happened over a course of hundreds of years there. And strikingly, the facial features are very Asian And as far as just the initial thought, and I don't mean that in any disrespect when I say that, but my thought is too, we know that, let's just say for sake of argument that there is truth in this claim that he was an earthling from the future, and say 1,000 years into the future. Well, we know that China is definitely going to be the one that kicks off this global war, and they will defeat the United States. That is pre-planned, part of a globalist agenda. And if they end up winning, and if we end up seeing a great calamity on the earth there, they may be one of the few people that survive this global calamity. And of course, all nations, including Russians, Americans, etc., have built underground bases and bunkers. But oddly enough, when we were discussing the safe places on the planet that would be safe from this incoming binary system that's going to really do a lot of destruction from the asteroids that will hit the Earth, and that's supposed to be a couple of years off. I think around 2024 is when they believe that this is going to be, or it's when I've been told the greatest impacts will take place. It is China that is actually going to be spared the brunt of this calamity. China was one of the few places I was told would basically go unscathed. So that's why I just piecing things together, examining it, I guess, from my own thinking. May not be right. Like I said, he may very much be an alien from some other far off place. I have no clue. But I wanted to share those things with you. And I do that here with our Patreon viewers there, because some of these things seem very outlandish. And so it's only conjecture. It's just sharing thoughts with you that I hear about, that I think that you may want to know about as well. I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. God bless you, and thank you for listening.